Keepers of a dark cave full of secrets and mysteries, always there for us, patient, silent. Be here now. The circle is cast. We are between the worlds, beyond the bounds of time, where night and day, birth and death, joy and sorrow meet as one. Welcome to the circle.
Not as scary as I thought. I don't know whether you're a witch or a priestess. I don't quite understand I mean, it's an absurd thing to have, but they're labels, and people talk about covens, and people talk about the craft, and people talk about Satanism, and can you kind of explain to me what you are and what you aren't?
I would call myself, first of all, a priestess of the goddess and of the god. But I was originally trained and initiated as a witch. I think you'd be hard put to it to find 50 Satanists in the whole country. And they are, generally speaking, neurotic young men who are quite spotty and not very sexually successful, and they don't make very much money, so they make themselves feel very important during these peculiar ceremonies. And it's a debased form of Christianity, because you would have to believe in the Christian devil and the concept of sin in order to be a Satanist.
Right.
There is a connection in that historically the church, I think, most unpleasantly took the image of our horned god, which is the oldest form of male divinity, and said that is the devil, which is a very good way of putting people off.
Oh, I will tell you of the goddess of old, and we will call up the power of the one. You can be the horned one, but most of all, the sacred child, sacred child.
You're a beautiful man, Peter, and you've come well into your guardian, caring for your wife and family. And then one day, the gates will open, and you'll become old and the sacred fool, and then you can do what you damn well please. The 3 stages of man.
You brought tears to my eyes. Is this some sort of witch's spell? That's not an answer, that's almost a cackle. That is a cackle. That is a witch's cackle.
Peter! That was wicked. That was wicked, wicked, wicked.
On the face of it, an afternoon spent with a cauldron-carrying witch whose temple is a shed in her back garden in Clapham sounds good for a few cheap laughs. In fact, I was moved. I think more than anyone else I met, Sian taught me not to prejudge people who are out there doing weird stuff. The other remarkable thing about her and all the other women is that they don't require you to believe what they believe. They're non-evangelical. Anyway, next week I'm going to be indulging in some bizarre initiation rites with an Irish shaman in a remote Welsh valley, and I'll also be asking if you believe in fairies. No, I won't. I'll ask that now.
Well, I've witnessed a fairy in a garden, and I was just kneeling down doing my shoelace, I think, and I saw something quite dark move about a foot by my side like this from one place to another, and then I turned around to look what it was, and it had gone bright white, and it was about that big. And it took off from the place where it had landed and back to the same place in bright whiteness. And then in the place where it landed, it disappeared and a robin stood in its place.
Tonight I'm going to forsake creature comforts like soft furnishings and crisp linen, not to mention other unnecessary fripperies like food and clothing, at the Spirit Horse Nomadic Circle camp. In a remote valley not far from here, an Irish shaman is waiting for me. He's prepared a day and a night of initiation ceremonies and challenges to help me locate the warrior within. Exactly what I'm going to be expected to do has been withheld from me so that I can have a spontaneous experience. All I know is that we begin in a few hours' time at first light by immersing ourselves in an icy cold mountain pool. Well, I don't like to appear smug, but I think I can handle that. When I immersed my head, it was like instant. It was like turning a switch. I got this shooting pain that came up my head, like right the way through the middle of my head, which was intense for 20 seconds in there, and is just throbbing a bit now. But it's, your skin feels, I feel completely different. My whole skin feels, I don't know, it's
shining and new. This is water. The next element we'll go through is space, then there'll be earth, there will be air, and we'll end with fire. Tonight, at midnight.
Okay. Each summer, Spirit Horse set up camp in a hidden valley in mid-Wales. Miles from the nearest road, unseen by outsiders, they draw on Buddhist, Celtic and native North American traditions for their rituals, workshops and celebrations. No sign of any paracetamol, though.
So, Peter, first of all, sit comfortably. I think as we've been in the water, we'll have some hot tea right now, and we'll have a smudge. I think maybe the smudge should happen right now. So this is sage and cedar, which is an American Indian way of driving out any little demons that are troubling you. Just let this smoke cleanse you and the space around you. I'm inviting you today, Peter, to go along with my invitations. To move through the elements, to move through a few very simple, possibly, to use a big word, shamanistic practices, in order to step more and more into life. We'll spend about an hour going deeper and deeper into just being.
I found myself thinking that I knew nothing about Shivam O'Brien, yet I'd agreed to place myself totally in his hands. I understood that the day had been prepared specially for me, so on one level it was just a game, a series of hoops for me to jump through. But even so, the emotions I experienced would be real enough. And then I remembered I wasn't supposed to be thinking any of this because I was supposed to be meditating.
We have a small shrine here with a Buddha, but in some ways the trees and everything else here is a little acknowledgement to the local denizens, the local spirits, whatever they are, some local influence.